Find us on the web at smacology.42web.io. There you can find our latest episode, or you can support the podcast by following our affiliate links at the top of the page. You can even buy some awesome Smacking Off merchandise. Again, that is smacology.42web.io.
We're here at Commonwealth Stadium, representing for the Kentucky Wildcats, right against the Georgia Bulldogs, right? And I'm live here, and there's fun and excitement going on. I know you can see that. This is Smacking Off, the podcast.
Hi, we're Fiverr, a global marketplace connecting individuals and businesses with freelancers offering thousands of digital services. Graphic design, web development, video editing, e-commerce marketing. You name it, there's a professional freelancer ready to make it happen. Filter your search by the service needed, budget, timeline, and boom! Fiverr provides a list of talented freelancers to meet your specific needs. Always know what you'll pay up front. No hourly rates, just project-based pricing. And because payment isn't released until you approve the work, you can rest assured that you'll be satisfied with the quality and get exactly what you want. Our support team is always available to answer questions or offer assistance when you need it. With the whole world of freelance talent at your fingertips, what might you achieve? Join today and find out. Fiverr. It starts here.
Stay right where you are. Smacking Off the podcast will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Right where you are. Smacking Off the podcast will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Stay right where you are. Smacking Off the podcast will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. right where you are. Smacking Off the podcast will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Stay right where you are. Smacking Off the podcast will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Where you are. Smacking Off the podcast will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Stay right where you are. Smacking Off the podcast will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Smacking Off the podcast.
Welcome back to Smacking Off the podcast with my co-host, Phillips. Co-host is what I meant to say. All right.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good. There's no college football except.
Where the fuck is everybody else? Is it just us, or is somebody lurking in the shadows that I can't see?
I've got people backstage I haven't added in yet, but
you got to bring them in. I hear one, Dr. Balls, Robert Arthur.
What's up, Big Daddy?
You?
Hallelujah.
Living the dream.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right.
I was worried because sometimes backstage is what we call that before we add anybody to the stage. I can hear people, but I could not hear you. So I was like, well, we'll find out when we add him if his mic is actually working. Sean.
Good. Hey, good evening. Can you hear me?
Sean Devine, what's up, homie?
Hey, how we doing?
I would do an official hand clap, but I don't have my audience ready. My audience is all still sleeping. They've been drinking. They've been drinking before the show, backstage, along with y'all. Not in the green room, of course, where we're where we were. No college football. There's no college football to talk about except this suck ass Michigan Washington game, unless you're a fan of either fan bases, which I feel like there's going to be a lot of hi Ed. No sooner than I said Michigan fans of Washington or Michigan, you popped up on the screen lurking backstage. My camera's out of focus. My camera's so whack. I got like this 8, and I can't really complain because I got the camera for free. I'm not going to say where I got it from because it might be somebody.
You got it from a garbage can, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't call you a garbage can.
Oh, get the hell out! Did I bring that over one night when we needed?
Yeah. This has been, and we've only used it like a handful of times until I set it up in the new rig here at the new. That's
place. Actually a better camera than I thought of. I mean, it's not terrible.
It's not.
I mean, that thing is old as fuck.
It's not great though. I am the least as far as the video goes. I'm the least, and my coffee cup's in the way too. Let me.
I'm not. Me and Devine's not on video.
Oh shit!
So
oh shit! I got Doug. I got something. I got to show you this.
Break it off.
I found this at a thrift store the other day. Can you believe that this guy right here was at one point in time the governor of California? This man right here. Yeah, he actually has buttons on the back of it, but somebody left the batteries in from like 30 years ago, so it corroded the little springs on the inside of it. But yeah, I picked this bad boy up for $2, and it's still. I bought a few items there that really tickled my fancy, but this one right here, this guy right here.
That's awesome. I love thrift stores. They're the
a ruby buck.
Hey man, I can't complain about people not going on video because I don't go on video most of the time, but. I tricked Sean. Sean's got a picture up here, whether he hooked up or not. You see it?
Yeah,
that's that really Sean?
That is a great picture too. That is him doing.
Is that really Sean?
The Nixon quotes, right?
It's
not
a great pic. I didn't know if it was actually Sean or not. That's got to be an older pic because that looks like a young Sean there.
Yeah, but it's so cool. I mean, it is an older pic, but it's such a cool picture.
It's a good pic. I like it.
I typically use this picture when I'm doing any picture of Sean on the podcast.
Yeah, I was at a wedding for that. So yeah, that's a good photo. Good choice.
Whose wedding was it?
A good friend of mine. About 10 years ago.
Like how good of a friend? Like on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, do y'all still hang out? Do y'all still talk regularly, or was he just kind of one of those fair weather
absolutely. Yeah, I still talk to John at least once a week.
So he said that'd be at least an 8 or above, I would think, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely 8 or 9 for sure.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of college football to talk about, so just be prepared for the conversation to bear off in these avenues from time to time. We got some time to.
We have plenty to talk about.
No, we
don't.
There
was one yesterday.
We're not talking about shit, dude. Sorry. We already know how this is going to play out. There's going to be a game, and somebody's going to win, and it'll probably be either Michigan or Washington as far as what the experts are saying.
Washington.
So, I mean, Washington. Yeah, I said it. My mom was from Indiana. I get Warsh and a few other Midwestern things from her, even though I've been in Alabama for
because apparently 7 modern era natties is not enough for you. You can't let us have our moment in the sun.
No, not while Jim Harbaugh and his cheating ass is still the head.
No, it's irritating as fuck.
I'd rather not. Thank you.
Ed, it's irritating as fuck. This whole fucking thing.
Especially since we just lost to Michigan. You have to realize where we're coming from as butthurt Alabama fans right now.
I I've got COVID, so I'm a little testy.
Ooh, that's not. What symptoms do you have right now? I heard.
I am congested and I have a cough. I have really not had a fever. I think my face is a little red.
Ed, if this was last year, you wouldn't even been able to come on the show. We were testing back last year.
We'd have to.
We wouldn't let anybody on the show if they had COVID.
Now, let me ask you a question. This is pertinent as to whether you survive this thing or not. Does your asshole itch yet?
No.
Have you checked?
That's excellent. Yeah, that's good news.
I don't need to check. It would tell me.
Okay, I'm just, sometimes I have to reach back there and just do a quick smell check.
I have not lost my appetite, which I already know that loss of appetite for a guy like me is a sign of imminent demise. So
perhaps, you could smoke the ganja. The ganja,
smoke the ganja.
That'll help you with that. Take the edibles.
All right, so how many years are we out from the last time that this happened? And when I say the last time this happened, what I mean is
national champion or
no
got to play in the national championship game. That's been
no SEC team at all, and a Pac and a Big Ten team.
I remember. Well, it wasn't Pac Big Ten, but FSU Oklahoma. That was a while back.
Oh no! This has happened in the CFP era once.
Oregon, Ohio State, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the very first one. First one, and this is the very last one of its kind.
Semifinal.
No.
Oh no! Wait a minute. It was a final. That's right.
Hey, Ed. That was a common mistake because the real national championship game that year was Alabama Ohio State. It really was. They seeded it wrong. Ohio State wasn't seeded high enough.
I mean, in retrospect, you're probably right about that. Alabama barely lost to Ohio State, and they killed Oregon.
And, if Michigan wins this game in convincing fashion, then people may say that this year. Except for the fact that Alabama lost to Texas. That's going to throw a monkey wrench into it.
Different Alabama team back then.
Oh, so you're claiming?
No, it wasn't that much different from what showed up the other night. Actually, it really stank and reeked of the Texas game. If you want to be quite honest,
I think really what you got down, and I think obviously Georgia had the personnel to do whatever Texas did and Michigan did, but for whatever reason did not do it. Or maybe they did have a personnel issue. Maybe it was just one player that was throwing everything off. But Sean, you know what I'm talking about?
You got me actually on this one, Doug.
No, I'm talking about the pressure that they got on Milroe. I mean, the Michigan game was very reminiscent of the Texas game, but for the life of me, I can't figure out why Georgia wasn't able to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's Georgia and Michigan.
Kirby had the yips.
Very similar teams.
It could have been. It could have been that Georgia missed somehow. That Kirby missed. He missed the. That he had the people to do it, and he just didn't do it for whatever reason. I know he didn't decide not to do it, but maybe that just wasn't his game plan, and he made a fucking hellacious error because that's how you got to get that kind of pressure on Milroe, and when you do, he becomes a very one-dimensional player.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Milroe had time in the SEC championship game, and he made Georgia pay with it. And Michigan,
it could be that Michigan
didn't give them that opportunity.
Could be that Michigan and Texas were the only teams that had the right personnel to pull it off.
Well, Milroe is not yet an accomplished passer in terms of,
I mean, if he's got time to throw, he's pretty good.
And he's going to get better. You guys, you Alabama fans, are going to be real happy with him.
But look, let's be fair. Let's see. Johnny Manziel's a great example of a scrambling quarterback that can just, oh my God, the pocket's collapsing and make some miracle throw downfield. That doesn't translate well to the NFL. And as we have gotten at the point that we're at right now with the way that the higher profile teams are putting their teams together. I mean, let's teams like Alabama, teams like Michigan, teams like Texas. These are, kind of NFL minor league teams, if you will.
C.J. Stroud's doing pretty well in the pros, though.
Mm-hmm. So, Milroe, until he figures out how to stand and deliver. And, quite frankly, and we pointed to it all season long, the problem has been right there in the center the whole time.
Yeah.
And the Alabama center, the senior, is transferring. He's a senior who had probably one of the worst showings of any center that I can think of in a Power 5 team. Can anybody think of a worse center? That is like, week in and week out, there's a good chance that there's going to be some wild snap or some, complete collapse in the pocket or, a missed assignment or whatever the case may be.
Just watch some Commanders games.
So, hey, what?
Usually I like my.
So you're saying that the Commanders are going to wind up drafting him? Is that breaking news? The Commanders are going to draft him?
I certainly hope not.
I think he's transferring to Ohio State, isn't that?
That was my question. Is that for real? And are they going to keep him under center, or are they going to move him?
Alex Bryan has to be overjoyed by that one.
He'd be fine as a guard. I think if you move him to guard, he'll be fine.
I mean, if they keep him at center, that's going to have to mean that they believe that somebody was dropping the ball on the coaching staff at Alabama.
Dude, there's he's the only person handling that ball to deliver it to the quarterback. There's no one else to blame there. Nobody. That's it. That's his only fucking job. That and just stand there and be a big old beefy Alabama
I heard
blocker.
He's going to play third base for Ohio State.
Oh. So he does play baseball?
No. Just that Ryan Day doesn't want to play third anymore, so.
We've really got to get Alex on the show. I know Alex is busy with his own thing, but Alex really
Where's
needs
Bruce?
Alex never mentions the fact that Ryan Day has got
Bruce is hopefully getting off Hawaii.
The last time I saw Alex Bryant, it was right before we started our last show or show before last, and I was watching the Buckeye Bro show, and they were having a celebration party for their little suck ass bowl that who was that
Missouri.
Playing? It was an SEC team. Shit, you think I'd remember that, but Missouri still doesn't feel like an SEC team to me. But whatever, because I'm gonna have to get over that shit because we got Texas and Oklahoma and all these new folks to worry about and shit, Southern hospitality and whatnot. I'm tired of getting to know all these neighbors. I need to move back out to the country where there's only need to move to the pack where there's only 2 teams.
So, Ed, to answer your question, Bruce Martinez is in the air right now. He is between Hawaii and I don't know if he's flying straight into Washington, but
so he's leaving Hawaii.
He's leaving Hawaii.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
I would.
That's one thing. If you go to Hawaii and you don't live there, eventually you do have to leave. It sucks.
Oh yeah, because that shit's expensive. You got to get back to work and pay for that trip.
Yep.
Yeah, that's hardcore. I mean, seriously, that's not like going to what do we Chattanooga. That's not like
Chattanooga. That's the last place I went. Yeah.
That's like, and y'all go to Disney pretty frequently. That's like Disney times 4, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
As far as the budget goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man. What's a good hotel? A 3-star hotel room run for in Hawaii? Of course, you want to see the beach.
I mean, you're pretty close to the beach wherever you're at in Hawaii.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, they still have some. I would imagine some inland. Airbnb situation.
Absolutely.
Trailer park. You can go to trailer park there in Maui.
It ain't cheap. I'll just tell you that. It's
every American city has a trailer park. Do you think that there's got to be a trailer park in Maui?
There's zoning, man.
Here, I want to know the answer to this. I didn't see one in Seattle either, but I wasn't really looking.
No, you talking about on the island or Maui or in the city of Maui?
The city, yeah. You don't see a trailer park on the beach, not anymore. I think probably PCB would probably be the last place you'd see something like that, and it's gotten bougie down there now. White people in their condos. That's a real thing.
Well, guys, let's take a break, and when we come back, we may actually even talk some football.
All right.
Yeah.
watching, or listening to Smacking Off the Podcast. If you love it, tell your friends about it. If you hate it, share it with your enemies.
It was just a small gift from Mummy and Daddy. One, however, that would spark a bit of an obsession. It started out innocent enough, as these things always do, but quickly lit the fuse to something bigger. Mum and Dad encouraged other activities, but alas, had to sell things almost as fast as they bought them. Friends and family thought it was cute. It's just a bit of fun, they said. It's just a phase, they said. Well, it's all fun and games until your child is 34, still lives at home, and absolutely nothing has changed. These things should really come with a warning label. Buy, sell, eBay.
All right. Welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast.
I was waiting to see if you would take the wheel.
Oh yeah, I seen it.
I thought Ed might take the wheel. Shit, somebody might.
Bob's in the driver's seat.
So I thought the cameras were frozen. It's because Madden set that fucking doll up, and I thought Madden was jumping in the air, and then the shit froze.
Well, you know, Arnold is a bit of a screen hog. He likes when a camera's anywhere, you know, he likes to jump in front of there and talk about that time he was governor.
I should let you all know that as of the last couple minutes, I am now dying. My ass just started to itch.
Damn it, Jim! You done it to him, Shannon.
No, he checked. That's why.
Oh, he checked. Oh,
yeah. You don't ever want to check, Ed.
So was he?
Well, I mean,
there's no way to check.
How
It's
did
not
you
like
check?
I
No,
could
that's the
look at
important thing. Yeah, I mean, if your ass just itched on its own, that might just be a skin thing. You might just see a dermatologist about your ass.
All right.
Just don't tell the receptionist or anything when you go there. Just make it a surprise until you get him all the way back there in the room, and then start talking about it.
It doesn't work that way. You know, you get an interrogation before you get an appointment.
But you can lie. People do that all the time.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So this game. I mean, this game is intriguing to me because it's been so long since we've had no SEC team in. Both of these teams are good. Washington's better than people think, and all that stuff makes this game very interesting.
So is Michigan. What else?
Oh, absolutely, Michigan is definitely better than everybody thought. And they were number one, but it's like Ed said, there was a lot of people still picking Alabama.
That's because their schedule wasn't so great, especially early in the season. So you didn't really have a yardstick to measure them by. You know, you couldn't say Michigan beat this team and this other team lost to them, so therefore Michigan ought to be in this place. So really, Michigan was kind of a mystery team for a lot of the season.
And you're not reminding me of the LSU Burrow season.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew. A lot of the same variables. Joe Brady wound up going to the NFL very shortly after the trophy was hoisted. We see when Jimmy Harbaugh.
Michigan didn't really start playing anybody until week 5 or week 6.
Our former Padres over at College Football Dogs have already, and I don't know if this is a troll or if it's a real thing, but they were pretty sure that Harbaugh had already kind of accepted a handshake deal with the Chargers.
Damn.
I've been hearing this too, but they also said that Cadillac Williams was taking the job in the NFL from Auburn, and I haven't heard anything backing that up.
Yeah.
Cadillac Williams was taking an NFL job?
Well, I mean, I think Gabe asked a great question. I mean, he's an assistant head coach at Auburn. What's he going to get in the NFL that's going to pay him more than what he's at right now? I mean, I don't see this happening.
Yeah, unless his goal is to actually become an NFL head coach, and
right, it could be, and he may take a cut.
That's a long process. That's a long journey. You know, that's a 10 to 15 year journey.
I mean, I think you would start to hear some rumbling about it, and I have not heard anything.
I haven't, and I probably pay more attention to the
what
NFL.
team did they propose was interested in him?
I haven't seen any of that, Doug.
Doug, what team did they propose or to Gabe or whoever?
You know what? It may have said it in the article, and I did not read the article. I just read the headline.
Excuse me, the college football dogs.
I don't think it would be a head coaching job.
No. It was an assistant's job.
No.
Sure, he could get that job. I mean, if his goal is ultimately to be an NFL head coach, then you got to start and work your way up the ranks. Even Bill Belichick had to do that. But
as an assistant coach, or would this be an assistant to the assistant?
I think he'd be a position coach before he'd be
yeah.
And he would be a good running backs or wide receivers position coach, no doubt. But to Doug's point, I don't know if he'd make as much money doing that in the NFL as he would doing it at Auburn, for sure, because he's a legend down there.
Well, and plus too, there is if he sticks around long enough, there's probably going to be some sort of caveat or maybe another interim head coach position. Hell, who knows?
If West Alabama opens up, maybe he takes that as the head man job. I mean, look
Rich Rod gets Jacksonville State whipped into shape, which he apparently already has, and gets
isn't Dilfer at Troy?
Year or two.
Dilfer's
at UAB and not doing a very good job right now.
My apologies.
They had a pretty rough season last season.
If you're a good player and there's an opening at a smaller school in Alabama, you might get a head coaching job. So there is that.
So how about this game, guys?
Well,
this is the only game in town.
Alabama's not in it. Michigan beat Alabama, so I'm pulling for Washington.
I mean, if we're going to talk some pro football,
Michigan 7.
I mean, the bottom line is Michigan needs to run and run and run and keep Penix on the sidelines.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, ESPN, I heard somebody on ESPN radio the other day saying, well, Penix had actually done a really good job when he's been pressured. And I don't agree with that because I've only seen him pressured once or twice this season, and he didn't do that well. But they have the best offensive line in the country. So if Michigan gets into a shootout with them, it's trouble.
I would agree with that.
Definitely.
But Ed is fixing to tell us why this is not going to happen. Come on, Ed.
Washington's defense is not that good. They have come up with key turnovers and stops in big games when they've had to, when they've been ahead, but they've given up a lot of points. They gave up over 30 both times to Oregon and to Texas. There's no reason to think they can stop Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards if he decides to show up.
We weren't laughing at your comment, Ed. We were laughing at Shannon keep putting up Arnold over there.
Arnold doing that. I have not. I quit touching Arnold shortly after I brought him home and tried to
quit touching.
Somehow, Ed, Shannon stuck his hand over
capabilities.
No. Ed, somehow Shannon stuck his hand over into your frame and he put rabbit ears on you.
I didn't do
That's
that.
what we were laughing at.
I didn't do that.
We don't know how he pulled it off.
I think Ed's right. I think if Michigan wants to win this game, they're going to have to control the tempo of the game. They're going to have to run the football, and they're going to have to get, on third down, they got to get off the field defensively. And they did that against Alabama. I don't think Ed wants a game where it's a shootout between Penix and J.J. McCarthy. No offense, but even after the great season they've had, McCarthy still, if I was a Michigan fan, which I'm not, McCarthy would still cause me some consternation.
No, he's headed to the NFL like any day now.
He's a good
according
quarterback.
To Michigan fans.
He is not. I don't see him.
He's a good college quarterback. He's not an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he'll get drafted. He'll hold a clipboard somewhere in the NFL, but he's not an NFL quarterback. He doesn't have the arm.
Maybe head to the Canadian Football League for a year or two.
See, the thing that worries me about Washington is even if you take Dylan Johnson out of the equation, and I understand he's going to try to give it a go with the 3 receivers he's got and the 2 tight ends, he's got 5 guys that he can throw it to, and it's hard to cover all of them.
And doesn't he throw a beautiful football? I mean,
he does.
The ball, I mean, and let's not forget, Penix is 1-0 in his career against Michigan.
And it wasn't close.
No, it wasn't.
And they've got a little bit of a running game at Washington, and I think that Johnson is a bit of a key, because if they can run it they have to honor it somewhat. Michigan would have to honor the running game somewhat, and they couldn't play like a constant zone. But I don't even believe that playing a zone on every play is the answer against Washington. I think you just pick it apart.
Well, I mean, you could do that, and then when you get in the red zone, it's going to be more challenging for them. You could play a bend but don't break, and Michigan could certainly do that. The question is going to be the defensive backs for Michigan. Can they cover all those assets for Washington? And you could say, well, they covered Alabama's guys, but you really don't have to cover as well when your pressure gets home to the quarterback that quickly. 1, 2, 3 is a lot easier than 6, 7, 8, 9 for those defensive backs. And I would assume Michigan at least will be in a nickel, if not a dime kind of package, if they can't get home. Otherwise, they're just going to send, 7 more guys than Washington can block and really hope you can get a hold of Penix. Penix can move a little bit, though. We've seen that.
Now, if you're Michigan, you believe that your defensive line is good enough to put pressure on Penix without blitzing, but you're going to blitz every now and then just to show them you will.
To me, the way Michigan wins this game is if they can get pressure on Penix with the base package, with 4 down.
Right.
Yes.
If they can do that consistently, Michigan will win the football game, because I do feel like on offense, Michigan is going to be able to run the ball against Washington. So, that's really and when Michigan is running the ball on offense, Michigan is an offensive team in their big games. They've stayed ahead of schedule. You want a 2nd and 5, a 2nd and 4, a 3rd and 2. You want to stay ahead of schedule with that kind of offensive package, not be presented with, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. That's a little more challenging for the kind of offense they run. But they do use a lot of movement well. They move their running back to the left or the right of the quarterback and find mismatches, particularly in that Alabama game with the Alabama linebacker.
We're not talking about that game. Sorry.
Well, they did the same thing against Ohio State, and they did the same thing against Penn State.
Yeah, that's better. Just
guys,
not bring that game up at all.
Somebody said that Penix beat Washington. Where was Penix at when he beat Washington? I mean, sorry, Penix beat Michigan.
Indiana.
Where was he at?
He was in Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that wasn't he at Tennessee at one point, and he transferred out, and then.
So Jeremy Pruitt didn't want him. He had committed to Tennessee. Pruitt didn't think he could make it at the college level. They pulled his scholarship. So then he went to Indiana because, and I think Kalen DeBoer, the Washington head coach, was there at Indiana at the time. Really believed in this young man and has believed in him all the way. That's why he followed DeBoer to Washington.
Was that COVID year when he beat Michigan?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
The year Michigan wouldn't play Ohio State. Yeah.
Yep. I remember.
Goodness.
That's when Alabama won a national championship, and it didn't count because it was
shame.
Ed, I'm not saying that you do this, but a lot of Michigan people count that as a win that year because they're always talking about, well, it's been this long since Ohio State's beat Michigan, but there was the one year that Michigan literally refused to play them.
Well, half the team had COVID. No, that's not a win. It just wasn't a loss. It sure would have been.
Oh, Ohio State wins that year easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Did everybody see that cartoon where Ryan Day was seen talking about the Missouri game, and he said they're going to have to invoke the mercy rule? We're going to hang 3 on them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did he have his makeup on? See, that's
I expect the ratings for tomorrow night's game to be through the roof because Doug, you've mentioned no SEC team. That's kind of what the country outside of SEC territory wants, for forever has been kind of griping about. So
Sean,
not that I care.
Sean,
I'm
gonna tell you, and I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm gonna also kind of throw in one huge, massive point that is going to add just an insane amount to the ratings this year, and that is the pure hatred for the Michigan program outside the state of Michigan.
There's a lot of that.
That is simply not a
what
true
has
statement.
for
There
what
are a
has
lot of
went
Michigan
down.
fans
The way
nationwide.
Shannon, Ed's disagreeing with you.
I know. He's a Michigan fan, of course he will.
Let's hear about it. I agree, but I mean, I think Shannon's on got a very good point on this. I think he does. And let's
there's a lot of people rooting for Washington in this one that have never ever even gave a fuck about Washington Huskies football.
Michigan
has
played 14 games this year, and they're 14-0. They're having a great year. Jim Harbaugh has only coached 8 of those games.
Yeah, wonder why.
Yeah, interesting.
So did he get an asterisk?
I think he was politely asked not to.
Maybe he went to Hawaii with Bruce.
No. He was at a Holiday Inn with that Connor Stallions guy, eating some bad takeout Chinese on the phone with all of the assistants on a conference call.
Now, to be fair, Ed probably coached them against East Carolina, Nevada, Las Vegas, Bowling Green, and Rutgers the first 4 weeks of the season. So, Ed, hats off to you. Job well done, sir.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm still waiting for them to send me my check.
Your check.
They spent that on Connor Stallion's tickets for some great games.
Or at least give
he got some great seats at a couple of those games. Like seats you wouldn't believe. Like you could almost feel like you're there at the game
good enough
on the
for random
sideline.
Beeman.
Yeah,
that's true.
Hashtag inside source.
Lifestyles of the rich.
Amen.
I just want to let y'all know that I won an appeal against Facebook. I don't know what it's for because they won't tell me. And I don't know
it was probably a music thing because we step all over the rules for music, even though we don't use anybody else's music anymore. I don't think. I may sing a song every once in a while. I may sing a song right now. I don't know yet. You know, I tend to burst into song every once in a while.
You gotta fight the power.
Like Barbara Streisand, you know, she does that at home.
I don't know what this is for. This is weird. But anyway.
Don't read it. No, I never read mail from Facebook.
Oh no, I just challenged one here the other day. I see down there where they had that YouTube had claimed that we'd infringed on this or that was right. So I looked at it. It was all common use music. It was Stravinsky or something like that, right?
Right.
So I challenged it, and then it come back through, and then they never told me nothing about it. It must have went to you.
I don't know. It's actually I pulled it up, and it was something that went through dogs. It was college football dogs. So
it what? It was called what?
It was I don't know what it was called, but it was something that dogs had posted in my name. That was happening. I mean, it wasn't nobody was doing it intentionally, but once I had become a member of the StreamYard team on dogs, when people would post stuff that I set the link for, it would go through my name.
Yeah, wonder what song it was.
It was "Sweet Child of Mine."
Mm. Oh, no. Axl Rose will come to your house personally for that one.
Fuck Axl Rose.
Oh, no. Axl had his moment there for a while. He went off the rails, but hell, he's singing for AC/DC, man.
That's so 2 years ago, man.
He's back in black, dude.
No, he's back.
He's on a
Guns N'
highway.
Roses are actually doing some shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's cool with Slash and shit. And trust me, if you're cool with Slash, you're cool, straight up.
Besides, Slash is doing those Capital One commercials now.
Slash is doing anything he possibly can because he got old and got sober and suddenly realized, damn, I wish I'd kept some of that money. Because he did a lot of drugs.
Hats.
A lot of drugs. No. Hat money is nothing compared to how much he spent on heroin.
It took him a lifetime, Shannon, to come to the realization of shit that we think about every week.
But luckily, Guns N' Roses is a marketable thing. We all remember Guns N' Roses fondly.
Oh, yeah.
We had great sex to Guns N' Roses back in the late '80s, early '90s.
Speaking of Lifetime, Doug, do you realize? One shout out Florida State, our life champions.
Amen, brother.
Right.
God bless them.
And then
they're
number
still
2,
bitching and whining about that.
Oh, of course. They will. We're going to hear about it for the next 15
in court, in Congress. Yeah, Congress. You got Tommy Tuberville is crafting some legislation now with one of them. I can't remember the
luck
other
with that.
Munchin.
Well, guys, I guess I need to take a fucking break.
Let's do it.
All righty. All right.
Sell some shit.
Support Smacking Off by commenting on, liking, and sharing our videos. Stay right where you are, more Smacking Off is headed your way.
I just received a marketing plan from a freelancer on Fiverr. It's great. And the way I'll present it will really take it to the next level. Check it out. Skills.
We're developing an app with a freelancer and it's excellent. It's probably my feedback that made it so good. And do you know who came up with the idea to use Fiverr? Liam. And who hired Liam? Me. Just to be clear.
You know what? I just realized, Bob, these commercials are not long enough for anybody to take a shit, and it's definitely not long enough for Ed to go scratch his ass.
I do what I want. Yeah.
Did you notice how fast? Did you notice how quickly Ed got up as soon as the commercial started?
Yeah. He's over there.
I think Ed's ass really did start itching. I don't think he was joking, Shannon.
No, and as long as he's been gone, it's a deep itch.
He should go full Clemson Dane and just commit to it.
No, we're not having that. Only Clemson Dane is allowed to poop on my show.
That was a short break.
Everybody else, if you can poop on the show, you just have to do it covertly. You can't do it. Vomit, well, you can't control vomit, but poop, no.
Clemson Dane doesn't get up covertly do it. He just tells you what he's doing.
Somebody had actually posted up something about the fact that they were unaware that I think it's Donald Trump. He's an older guy. Well, as you get older, to that age, when you get 70 and above, you gotta wear some extra gear there. Downstairs.
You never trust a fart.
No, can't. If you think you have to pee and suddenly you realize, damn, I just peed, then you're at that point in life. It happens. We're all gonna get old. We're all gonna fucking do it. If we're lucky enough to be that old, that's the way we need to start looking at this, because we're not getting any younger.
So I think Donald Trump is in his 70s, which is a great segue.
Yeah, and I'm sure Joe Biden, probably, just to be fair, to be partisan here, I'm sure Joe Biden's probably been in diapers for quite some time now. He sure acts like it.
Sure. The segue being in the 70s
one way
is
or
that,
another.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ed is 75 or older. Ed, I don't think you are. You look like a fairly younger fellow.
62 yesterday.
So you look.
Y'all got a few years on.
I
haven't hit 50 yet, but I'm getting there.
I would have said 48, Ed. So you're looking good, man. Keep it up.
Thank you.
I'm 48,
and you look great too. But
I look
75 years since Michigan's last consensus national championship, 1948.
Now look, hey, we're not talking about college football here. We were talking about Donald Trump pooping, and because it tied in with what I was talking about. You stepped all over that. We'll get back to that in a minute. You're so eager to get on football tonight, and I'm just so ready for it to be over with, because for me as an Alabama fan, it already is. So, anyways, somebody posted up they were unaware that Donald Trump pooped in public as often as he did. He'll just be standing there talking to somebody, and he'll let it go. Not really. Apparently, one of his assistants. Everybody's tattling on each other.
How would you not know that?
No, he apparently knew, which Trump, and Trump's kind of he's a power play guy. That's a power play, man. To poop in front of somebody and make them stand there and talk to you and smell that shit.
Jeez, literally smell that shit.
That is alpha as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
So
not cool at all.
But that's kind of where I'm with it, man. I'm one of those people. I've got to shit in public. I've never, even when I was in county, I had to poop and I held it until I got out of jail. And as soon as I went back to the house, I had a 5-minute situation in the bathroom. It was glorious.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
So, but I don't poop in public. I'm not going to poop in front of people. I don't poop in front of my wife. I'm a door closed kind of guy. She'll leave the door wide open. She don't give a fuck.
You have no road games. You can't play road games.
Yeah, so I don't understand why somebody, if they're in that situation, oh shit, I feel it coming on. Excuse me for a second, or oh shit, I've had an accident. Hang on 1 second, I got to get a call, or make some kind of segue or nod to your assistant. Oh, Mr. Trump, it's time to go.
We got to get out of here.
I can only think that's just an alpha thing. I think the Arabic and the Indian dudes, they purposely don't bathe. Some of them don't. And it's a negotiation tactic, and they'll kind of lean in as they're negotiating with you, hoping that you'll catch a whiff of them, but just want them to be gone. All right, $50. Fuck it, man. Take it. God, you stinky motherfucker. Yeah.
Hell yeah, you do that in basketball too. You want to be stinky as hell when you go out to the court and you want to walk up against them, want to post up on you. Hell yeah, 2 days of BO will stop that.
Amen, brother.
Okay, so I went to pee and I came back and we weren't talking football.
No, I had to get over this whole shit in public thing.
You had to segue us back into this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it all really started with the shit story of Clemson Dame pooping on air.
Yeah, it happened.
That I think we need to issue a moratorium on that. From
it happened. We know it happened, Ed, because Dane said, "I got to go to the bathroom, guys." And we didn't hear anything. We heard a little noise of the.
There was some plopping noise.
It actually did not happen.
If you turn it up and listen to it in high definition, you can clearly hear the plop.
Yeah,
goodness. So you done?
I don't think he wiped either. I didn't hear a wiping. I heard a plop, but I didn't hear a wipe because I listened. I've listened to this no less than 75, 100 times, and I listened to it as loud as I could with the lights off.
Okay, so Michigan, Washington.
God, we got to keep talking about Michigan.
Are we going to sell this game? I mean, right now, I feel like Michigan wins, but I'm pulling for Washington, Ed, because I hate.
Why do you feel like Michigan wins, though?
Because I'm an Alabama fan, and Michigan just beat Alabama, and I will feel better about things if Michigan goes and handles Washington.
No, that's not the question that I asked. I mean, that's the reason that you want Michigan to win.
No. I don't want. No, I'm pulling for Washington. I can't stand Michigan.
Well, I mean, particularly because
it's really a conflict in my brain. It's a conflict in my brain. It really is.
Yeah,
Michigan does lead the all-time series against Washington. Eight
we are going to win the game.
They last played in 2021 with a Michigan victory, 31-10. Albeit that was in Ann Arbor.
There was no Penix.
Is that the same year?
Different coach.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sean, is that the same year that Washington lost to an FCS school?
That I couldn't tell you. 2021.
Yeah, because that was Michigan was the second game of the season.
That might have been.
They had lost to an FCS team in the opener.
Was that Eastern Washington?
Game put them 0-2, but remember there was no Penix and no Kalen DeBoer as the coach.
I think it was one of the Dakota teams.
No, I thought it was Eastern. Well, you might be right, but either way, yeah, that was not a good year.
North Dakota State.
No, you know what? Y'all keep talking, and I'll let you know in a second.
No Penix and DeBoer, and it's really a clash of styles. So Michigan has the largest average win score this year. They usually, on average, win their games by about 24 points.
A lot of people attributed that to the, the substandard competition.
the non-conference schedule wasn't great, no doubt.
And when it started getting a little bit beefier, a little bit meatier at the end of the year, the margins started to shrink.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Sean, we were both wrong. It was actually Montana.
Damn it, Jim.
Montana just played in the FCS championship game yesterday against South Dakota State. I didn't see who won that game.
South Dakota State.
Did the Jackrabbits got it? Okay. But Washington, even though their mascot is a dog, they've been living life like a cat with 9 lives this year. They have 10 wins, less than 10 points this year. So they are. You can look at it two different ways. You can look at it. Well, man, are they really that good? Have they got to keep really going down to the wire with a lot of these games? Or can you say this is a team that really, when the chips are down, when it's crunch time, they make the plays that are necessary to happen?
That's what I say.
Both statements are true.
Yeah, I think both statements can be true for sure. And Michigan's looked dominant in just about every game they've played. But for the Alabama game was nip and tuck. And Ed, being the big Michigan fan that he is, can't say that when there's 4 minutes and 32 seconds left and Alabama's up by 7, you weren't a little bit nervous.
Of course I was.
Yeah. So I think to sell the game, I think we're headed for I think it's going to be a heck of a battle. I really do. I think it's going to be, whichever team. And Michigan, this kind of reared its head a little bit against Alabama. A couple of turnovers, couple of close calls there. Whichever team commits less penalties and turnovers, I think is going to be the benefactor and win the game. Probably.
We clearly came in with the jitters after two, the Georgia playoff game. Okay, we in retrospect happy to be there. Georgia was far better. And then the TCU game was just a shit show. And we came in with the jitters. You saw McCarthy throw a pick that got overturned because the Alabama defender had not reestablished himself in bounds. But that was clearly like an obvious throwaway attempt that he couldn't even pull off. And then you have that new punt returner, Samaj Brown, I think that's his name, who muffed one. Yeah. And then late in the game, you almost had like a Michigan State punt fiasco 2.0, where the guy Jake thought he fumbled it, then he got it, and then he got crushed at his 1 yard line. It was a miracle he didn't cough it up again.
And the two kind of key plays in the game. One, fourth quarter, the middle roll out, and he ended up fumbling that ball. Certainly changed the momentum of that game because
we got nothing out of it, though.
You didn't, but I think if Alabama gets points on that drive, even a field goal, you're in dire straits.
If they go up 24-13, it's over.
Yeah. So even though you didn't get points on the drive, you kept the status quo and slightly flipped the field position a little bit. And then the other play that I thought, albeit I was on the other end of the stadium Monday, was the pass. Michigan's driving. The pass that I think his name's Romeo Wilson.
Roman Wilson, number 1.
He went up, man. He found his Air Jordans and really skied to get that pass that had. I thought it was an overthrow. I really did. And I thought Alabama's safety was going to pick up that, and it was clear sailing the other way for a pick six.
Yeah, I don't think it was on target to be intercepted, but I think it was certainly going to be incomplete.
Well, right. So it's either an incomplete, and I think it's.
Oh, I thought it was going to be intercepted.
I thought it was going to be intercepted, but if it's incomplete, that still hurts you because you're behind schedule now.
That's
Instead,
right.
he goes all the way up, and by the last two, knuckles on his fingers, gets a hold of that thing. And then, not only is that a big gain, but then he made a guy miss, and he gets it inside, I think, the 5 yard line.
Yeah, he had the presence of mind once he landed to actually, make a good move and get extra yardage.
I think those two plays were really the deciding factors in that game. And I knew once the game went into overtime, I thought, the usually when you win the toss, you want to go on defense first. That's normally the school of thought. But for a second, I thought, no, what Alabama needed to do, winning that toss going into overtime, they should have chose what end of the field to play on and played on the Alabama side of the field to negate that end zone that Michigan was. Their band was there. It was totally maize and blue, and it was noisy. So I knew that would be a problem for the center, who was obviously we've already gone over that having issues.
I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Excuse me. Sometimes I do that. I think really bad, awful things about people, then I just say it with my mouth.
So I think if they had chosen the end that they wanted to play on, regardless of going first or second, offense, defense, I think that would have been to their benefit. But there's no excuse. I mean, Michigan ran the ball 3 or 4 times, and it was a touchdown in overtime. That just can't happen, and that very well may play out in this game tomorrow night. If Michigan can run the ball like that with Corum and is it Edwards? I think is the other tailback. If they can run for 4+ yards a clip, it's going to be a long night for Washington. So that's really, again, it all goes back to which offensive line and defensive line of both teams is going to come, prepared and ready to make the plays necessary to win the game.
I hope that all of Michigan's team oversleeps and they
Barrett Robbins
Guys,
and
let's give Ed a chance to go scratch his ass one more time. Do one more commercial break and come back and
I'm
give
not
everybody
confessing to anything.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yes, you did.
Find us on the web at smacology.42web.io. There you can find our latest episode, or you can support the podcast by following our affiliate links at the top of the page. You can even buy some awesome Smacking Off merchandise. Again, that is smacology.42web.io.
We're here at Commonwealth Stadium, representing for the Kentucky Wildcats, right against Georgia Bulldogs, right? And I'm live here, and there's fun and excitement going on. I know you can see that. This is Smacking Off, the podcast.
Hi, we're Fiverr, a global marketplace connecting individuals and businesses with freelancers offering thousands of digital services. Graphic design, web development, video editing, e-commerce marketing. You name it, there's a professional freelancer ready to make it happen. Filter your search by the service needed, budget, timeline, and boom! Fiverr provides a list of talented freelancers to meet your specific needs. Always know what you'll pay up front. No hourly rates, just project-based pricing. And because payment isn't released until you approve the work, you can rest assured that you'll be satisfied with the quality and get exactly what you want. Our support team is always available to answer questions or offer assistance when you need it. With the whole world of freelance talent at your fingertips, what might you achieve? Join today and find out. Fiverr. It starts here.
There's no telling what we would have accomplished if we'd have had Fiverr back in the day.
It'd been special.
We only had AOL and Netscape. Yeah. This is before Pornhub.
OS2 Warp.
I mean, back then it took you like 10 minutes to download a small porn picture.
One of them.
Right. One.
I got a really horrible story about that, but I can't tell it.
Because we got to reach our conclusions.
Yeah,
And my conclusion is I'm pulling for fucking Washington like a motherfucker. I've already got my pom-poms ready.
Go Huskies.
Right. But if Michigan wins, then as an Alabama fan, I'm going to be like, okay, so it all made sense. It aligned in the stars, and we just couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
If Michigan wins, how quickly do we get to see Jim Harbaugh wearing a Chargers hat and polo?
According to college football,
win or lose, he's going to be wearing an NFL hat as a head coach.
Or do we think he's going to? Do we think David Tepper of the Panthers just writes him a blank check and says fix the Carolina Panthers?
He's going somewhere.
According to College Football Dogs, Jim Harbaugh will leave the field Monday night. Whether he wins or loses, he'll leave the field with the Chargers hat on.
I think it'd be a great fit for him.
It's not just the fact that he's going to accept the job, but he will be. It is confirmed he will be wearing a Chargers hat.
I mean,
he's not going to do that. Great uniforms, the powder blue with the lightning bolt yellow down the pant legs. I mean, those are
like him.
Kind of bold.
And
McNeil, baby.
Yeah, and you got a guaranteed franchise quarterback sitting there waiting for you. I mean, some good receivers. That's a great position for him to be in out there in LA.
So does JJ McCarthy join Jim Harbaugh?
No.
No.
Yeah, with a clipboard.
Yeah, with a clipboard, because no one's replacing Justin Herbert there for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, JJ will probably stick around. And, with any luck next year, we could sneak in at number 12.
I was just saying, now, Ed, correct me if this is a pretty senior-laden team for Michigan, is it not?
Yeah, but they've been recruiting, with all the speculation on Harbaugh, they've still recruited well. And
but do those recruits
I know y'all will hate this, but for God's sake,
do those recruits stay depending on who the next head coach is going to be? Because that really, everybody in the world has talked about Harbaugh leaving. Few people have bandied around a couple names, which is really just your average, typical head coach wish list if you're a fan base of any team that is looking at your head coach on the way out and who you want to get to replace them. Dan Lanning from Oregon is on everybody's list.
No, it'll be more or
we fucked with you about Brian Kelly, but I don't.
No, Ed, I'm pulling for Brian Kelly. I'm a Brian Kelly guy. I want him to Michigan.
I don't like him.
We knew that, Ed.
Remember we had a whole conversation about that, and we fucked with you about it. But I mean, nobody's really. I don't think anybody's given that a serious consideration because I know you are, but Brian Kelly's building something at LSU, and I really don't see him leaving that unless it's just a ridiculous, record-setting amount of money. And I don't see Brian Kelly being worth that just yet.
I mean, Brian Kelly did give Michigan one of their worst
Shut
losses
the fuck
of the last
up.
10 years.
They wouldn't stand that. They wouldn't stand that for what, 3-4 games up there.
Oh, they'd like to have all that color and personality up there. It'd be good for them,
I wonder if he's dating that little blonde, the little hot little thing that he was.
Ed Orgeron. They might as well bring back Brady Hoke.
Yeah, but Brady Hoke never won a natty,
No, but
well, I mean, again, at Michigan, it's not really that big of a deal to win a natty.
That was the best thing of Brady.
They could give Rich Rod another shot, right? Rich Rod's terrible.
He's climbing his way back up out of the pit.
He's working his way back to you, baby.
And we're not trying to piss you off.
He had them vying for
we're not trying to piss you off, Ed.
No, Ed knows what I said was correct. When
I'm
Brady
not
Hoke
thin-skinned at all.
Ed's fighting for his life over there, Doug.
Did it not bother you, Ed, when Brady Hoke was Michigan's head coach? He never had a headset on. So how the heck did he know what was going on?
I mean, it went a little deeper than that.
Well, no kidding.
All right, so let's make our picks. We got to do this because there's a game tomorrow night. We got to pick. Dr. Balls.
Ed, we're going to let you. Well, let Ed go first because we already know what he's going to pick. I just want to hear the score.
Fair enough.
31-23 Michigan.
Dr. Balls.
I got 42-34 Washington.
Shannon. Shannon's going to pick. Shannon's going to tell you what's going to happen, and he's going to say if this happens, then he's not going to tell you who's going to win. Watch.
Well, I predicted that the winner of the Alabama-Michigan game, the winner was going to score, be the first one to score to 30, and neither team did.
Right.
Which was a little surprising.
Yeah,
However,
but the closest to 30 did win it.
Penix is with the way Penix can throw. The Michigan's gonna have a tough time with that. I really did. I really honestly believe.
You ain't making a pick though, are you?
I think that's going to. Shit, man, I'm fixing to make a pick and
Daddy's he calls the game. That's what it is. He's not allowed to make a pick on this game.
I'm really not. I mean, I think I signed something, didn't I?
Yeah, we're doing this tomorrow night.
Yeah.
He'll be broadcasting live on Birmingham radio, so he can't make a pick.
I really. The one thing that I noticed about Michigan during the Alabama game was that Michigan, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, they were playing with some extra swagger that I wasn't quite prepared for. They were a little pissy about it. There was some shit being talked on the field, the whole thing. Nick Saban likes to refer to that, particularly after a win, as rat poison. And I really honestly believe that Michigan is going to march into this game with the expectation that they're going to win. And that might possibly give Washington an edge. Because, again, Michigan also showed some pretty nasty film for Washington's defense to study. Washington doesn't really have that explosive of an offense. If they can figure out how to run against Washington, that's going to help tremendously. Don't get me wrong, but that's not going to be the decision maker in this game. The game is going to be decided by one Michael Penix, and it depends on which one shows up. I have a feeling the way he's balling right now, because he doesn't have to wait in the pocket. He pretty much knows exactly where the ball's going to go. Reminds me a little bit, not exactly. There's, some of the mechanics are different, but a little bit of Bryce Young in the way that he's able to put the ball in places that are just scary accurate.
But you don't think both teams are going to walk in there with the expectation they're going to win the game? They're 14-0.
I don't know. I really honestly believe, because again, there is a different culture in Michigan. And that's kind of circle this conversation back around, why so many eyes are going to be on this game rooting for Washington, or just straight up rooting against Michigan, not even rooting for Washington, just to tune in to see Michigan lose. Do you know why I know this? Because I'm an Alabama fan, and we faced this in the God, ever since all the way back to the computers were picking this shit.
Yep.
A lot of people just simply tuning in just to see us fail. So hopefully you're on the winning side of that, but fuck your team. I mean,
me and Madden have watched people pick against Alabama for 10 straight years, and then get one right and act like they're a prophet.
I told you that was going to win. I've been telling you this whole time.
For fucking 11 years, and you finally got one.
Well, picking against Alabama consistently is no way to make a living.
Yeah,
that's right.
So I'm picking Michigan in this. I feel like it's going to be
it hurts you. It hurts you to do so.
28-25, but when it's that close in the fourth quarter, my fucking Washington pom-poms are going to be swinging all over the fucking place.
So nobody sees this game emulating what happened in the Bama game. This game is going to be decided in the original 60 minutes.
Maybe. Sean.
They've had 9 lives for a reason, and after 60 minutes Monday night, it won't be so great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Huskies 35, Wolverine 31. We like the Huskies and Michael Penix, man. He's just special.
We fucking hate Michigan.
He's a difference maker. If the Washington O-line can handle the Texas D-line, I don't see them having a problem with the Michigan D-line. Penix will have time. Michigan hasn't seen a wide receiving core as good as Washington's, but for Ohio State, and Ohio State nearly beat them in their place, but for Kyle McCord getting sacked on that last play, which if he has literally 2 more seconds, he hits Marvin Harrison Jr. for the touchdown, and Ohio State wins. Neutral field, Houston. Give me the Huskies by 4, 35-31.
All right, so whoever wins this, we'll be getting you on soon. whoever's repping who. We're going to get you on to explain how your team won. How's that?
All right.
I'm really I'm more interested in hearing the person from the losing team talking about how their team lost. And
we can do that too.
I want to hear some crying and the refs cheated us and and they missed this call and
Sean's not going to cry because he's not a Huskies fan.
Yeah, I'm sitting in for Bruce because he's trying to make his way back from Hawaii. Apparently, the issue was the FAA has grounded all those 737 Maxes because a window blew out the other day. I don't know.
So the side of the plane flew out.
So I hope Dogfather was able to get safely home to Seattle. For his.
All right, so Bruce, when you get home, if you need any of us, we'll be in bed.
But yeah, Bruce, I'm sure will chime in whether the Huskies win or lose the next time, but everyone knows I don't care for Michigan, so it was easy.
All right, give us a Michigan. Give us a Michigan something, Ed. What do they say in Michigan?
Well, "Hail to the Victors" is the greatest fight song ever.
All right, sing that song, Doug.
We'll have to take you at your word, Ed.
Go ahead and sing that song, Ed, and we're going to go ahead and go to bed.
I got a sore throat.
Thank you for supporting Smacking Off the podcast on the X's and O's network. Be sure to keep up with our scheduled live casts and other presentations on Facebook at Smackologists or at Smacking Off, and on our YouTube channel at Smacking Off the Podcast.